Hello there and welcome to the newspaper review here on TAP TV once again for today, the 12th day of January 2023. My name is Cyril Aloysius and I am excited to, bring to you different headlines in different newspapers across the nation. Mr. Victor Sioku is the person once again to do justice with me to headlines in the different papers. How do you do, sir? How do you feel?
Soft.
Okay. How are you coping with the current rise in the price of petrol and all of that?
Say you don't come. It's been terrible. Real terrible, because you just wonder, with 2,000 naira, you're just buying only 5 liters.
Wow.
At 400 naira. The last one I just bought, okay? Bro, I bought 10 liters in a can. And after the field, I was then asking them, see, you're selling this fuel for 400 at the same time.
I hear at some fuel stations they sell 500 naira per liter. A particular fuel station was, I think, should I say, raided by these task force persons.
Really?
Yes, so I heard news. Who deliberately sell fuel at high prices, extremely high prices, 500 naira per liter. So we were like, okay, put it. So why do I put in it? They got arrested. I was like, oh, so people will sell fuel for 500 naira per liter, which means some persons deliberately cause hardship on Nigerians.
It's the normal thing now. Many of our fuel station owners.
Some places they sell 350.
Use this period to make so much wealth. When these periods don't come, in fact, if they don't have seasons like this in the country, we will not be having plenty fuel stations, because people target this kind of periods to make profit. And they target this kind of period. In fact, it is because of these periods like this that they build their fuel stations. Okay,
so Mr. Victor, now that it has been noticed that this is what fuel stations do, what do you think should be done to curtail this particular act of deceit?
The enforcers should do their jobs.
Okay,
the people that are there that are supposed to enforce that, see, you should sell at this
amount. Fraud? Because it's fraud. Yeah, fraud.
It is fraud. And come on, even those people at the end of the day, they will bribe. See, I'm just telling you the fact. They will bribe their way out, and life continues. How many times have you heard that a fuel station owner, CEO, has been jailed before? That's never happened in my lifetime. That because of selling at a ridiculous amount of price, that the person was charged to court, and from charging, I've not even heard anybody being charged to court. From charging to court, that the person goes to jail.
And here we are hoping for a better Nigeria. Well,
my brother, look at what about, you're just mentioning a part of the problem. What about the part that you buy fuel, you need 10 liters and you will not be giving 10 liters?
That one is a different thing.
So even at this 400, like I was trying to mention to you, even at 400, I bought 400 naira, that's in 10 liters, for 400 per liter. At the end of the day, it was not even close to 9 liters. Because I have a marker. my can has a marker, as in it's calibrated. It was not up to 10 liters.
Wow.
So it's a sad tale, man.
It's a sad tale. Okay, today we'll start by looking first at the Daily Sun newspaper, where we have some interesting headlines, and we'll be starting first by looking at page 6 of the Daily Sun. This one says, "The Sun Award will motivate us to finish strong." That's according to Ugwuanyi. The Sun Award will motivate us to finish strong. That's Ugwuanyi saying on page 6 of the Daily Sun. On page 2 of the Daily Sun, we have Nigeria blew $12 billion importing petroleum products in 10 months. That's according to CBN on page 2 of the Daily Sun. Nigeria blew $12 billion importing petroleum products in 10 months. Wow. Okay. And next here on page 6 as well, we have INEC makes U-turn on election shift. INEC makes U-turn on election shift. Says Nigerians will vote as scheduled. Confirms 93.469 million eligible to vote. Lagos, Kano, Kaduna with highest voters. Ekiti list. Okay, that's on page 6 of the Daily Sun. And on page 7, we have Boko Haram ploy to destroy Nigeria. Boko Haram ploy to destroy Nigeria. That's according to the President Buhari. Pledges to pay more attention to economy. Get all the details on page 7 of the Daily Sun. On page 8, we have Labour Party to INEC. Make polling units PVC collection points. Labour Party to INEC. Make polling units PVC collection points. Decries slow distribution. Okay, get all the details of that headline on page 8 of the Daily Sun. On page 25, we have importation in Nigeria drops by 40%. Importation in Nigeria drops by 40% as importers abandon port for neighboring countries. Okay, that's on page 25 of the Daily Sun. And lastly today, no, not lastly, on page 4 we have Edo train attack. 20 persons abducted, not 32, according to government. Edo train attack. 20 persons abducted, not 32. That's according to the government on page 4 of the Daily Sun. Lastly, in Daily Sun today, we have in page 7, someone says, I will make Southeast Industrial Hub. That's according to Tinubu. Says Obasanjo Atiku corrupt. I will make Southeast Industrial Hub. Tinubu saying on page 7. Says Obasanjo Atiku are corrupt. Okay, that's the most you can take in the Daily Sun for today. You want more details on the headlines you had, get a copy of the Daily Sun for yourself. Mr. Victor, what do you have to say concerning the importation, in Nigeria dropping by 40%? How do you react to that particular headline?
Okay, I'm not surprised because 2020 was a tough year. Let me just be plain, not just to the average Nigeria, even the rich. Yeah, the facts are there, the numbers are there to tell you that it was a very crazy one. And yes, importation going down by 40% is also not new to me. Reason you ask, our forex has been so bad, our exchange rate has been so awful, our foreign reserve, which is supposed to cater for the balancing of naira to FX rates, has been so appalling. So what then happens? People don't tend to spend money. Reason, because they don't have it. So when it comes to importation, Nigeria is a consuming nation. One might say, oh, come to think of it, oh, it's good that our importation, the rate of importation has reduced. It's not just about that. It's trying to tell you that Nigerians are suffering. They are about just to eat. Before you start talking about importing a vehicle, importing a wristwatch, importing electronics.
Mr. Victor, isn't it absurd for a country as like Nigeria, who is rich in natural resources, to just be a consuming country? Isn't it absurd? Isn't it weird? For a country like Nigeria, who has natural resources, minerals, and all of that, to just be a consuming country.
Let me take for instance the big USA, the big USA.
There are countries who have far lesser than we do and are still thriving.
Bro, importation is not a bad thing. Okay, if your economy is running soundly, it's not a bad thing. Reason, if you can balance it, that you're exporting way more than you are importing, you're good.
That's my point. Exactly.
You're good and fine.
It's not a bad thing to import, but when the importing becomes too much, especially when it goes over the line for the exporting part of it, then it's just not good enough.
And mind you, this 40% we are talking about is not just about luxury goods and consumables. We're also talking about raw materials here. The most of the importation that we even do in this country is hinged on raw materials. Reason, because you see these big companies out there. Okay, look at Coca-Cola. Coca-Cola don't make their syrups, okay, their concentrates here in Nigeria. They are all imported. Okay, so when you have a situation whereby companies are part of this 40% and they are not bringing in raw materials, what does that tell you? Because it tells you that people are not consuming, people are not buying. Because of why? They don't have money. Okay, now when we go down to the other side of it, you find out that another reason why many persons are not importing, especially businessmen, are now not interested in importation business, is because of the custom. The custom has been a hindrance to businesses in Nigeria. You ask me why? I say because most of the custom rates are out of this world. Why will you be double taxing, triple taxing people on a particular commodity?
Is that why? Is that the reason why importers are abandoning the ports and for neighboring countries?
Okay, it's stated there, right? Yes. Why wouldn't they leave? Why wouldn't they leave the shores of Nigeria to go and import? But even when they import outside the shores of the country, they still, mind you, while they are still bringing it in, there are forces on the way that will demand both legally and illegally for you. And for the fact that they still transport these goods from, let's say, from Togo, for instance, they still transport it, they still pay all those levies, illegal and legal levies, and at the same time, they find it still attractive to import outside the country. What does that tell you? It tells you that the custom and the charges that they meet are still way above them transporting the goods from Togo to Nigeria and paying all those rats. Sorry, I need to call them rats. Rats on the road. Because why do we call them rats? Because almost every force in this country are just by that border. There was a report I saw. For you to make that trip from Togo to Nigeria, you're talking about meeting about 44 checkpoints.
And you must drop something.
Oh, sure. So just imagine you importing from Togo and meeting all those chains of checkpoints.
So by the time you calculate how much you are going to spend along the way,
it's way cheaper. It's still way cheaper than importing direct to Nigeria. What does that tell you? It tells you that all these we are making new ports, but Lekki Deep Sea Port. You have the Calabar, you have the Bonny, you have the NPA here in Port Harcourt. My brother, when people are not seeing making profit out of their business and they see that, oh, I'll go to the next country, import and bring it, and I still make my profit, what then happens? It makes our ports moribund. It's really an embarrassing news for Nigeria.
It's really an embarrassing one indeed. Okay, Mr. Victor, thank you for your thoughts on that particular headline. Let's take a quick look now at the Guardian newspaper, where we have further interesting headlines. This one says, INEC assures poll must hold. Says 93.4 million eligible to vote. Okay. On page 2 of the Guardian, we have Edo train attack. 20 kidnapped, not 32, says commissioner. Okay, that's on page 2 of the Guardian. On page 2 as well, we have Obi Kwankwaso Yakubu for Chatham House next week. Okay, Obi Kwankwaso Yakubu for Chatham House next week. That's on page 2 of the Guardian. On page 4 of the Guardian, we have, on page 30, I beg your pardon, we have bandits kill 2, abduct 4 women in Kaduna. Bandits kill 2, abduct 4 women in Kaduna. That's on page 30 of the Guardian. And on page 6 of the Guardian, we have insecurity. Police direct operatives to intensify stop search operation in FCT. In security, police direct operatives to intensify stop search operation in FCT, Federal Capital Territory. That's on page 6 of the Guardian newspaper. You want more details, get a copy of the Guardian for yourself. And lastly, here in the Guardian, we have our business page here on page 18. This one says, safety system failure in US grounds over 5,000 flights. Safety system failure in US grounds over 5,000 flights. Okay, that's on page 18 of the Guardian newspaper. That's the much we can take in the Guardian for today. Mr. Victor, which of these headlines interests you?
Okay, let's go INEC this time around.
Okay.
The numbers are out there for us. About 93 million Nigerians are eligible to vote this 2023, and just like
I feel like it's not enough. I feel like it's too small. What do you think?
No, I think the numbers are good. The numbers are good when you come from the aspect that
93,
Nigerians,
just 93 million.
Yes, when you come from the approximation that Nigerians are about 220, 230
and
million
you have
persons,
just 93 million.
Yeah, you have about 40% coming out to vote. Okay,
really?
Yeah, 40% that are registered. It makes a whole lot of sense. Mind you, we still have children of 0 to 18 to make up that number. And mind you, we have more children than elderly in Nigeria. Yeah, we have more children from 0 to 18. Mind you, our life expectancy is just around 50. So when you see somebody that is 70, you give praise to Jah because our elders die so quickly.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. So
Unfortunately.
So by that number, I think it's good enough. It's good enough because no matter what you also preach to many persons out there, you should have it at the back of your mind that some persons will never go for that registration of voters card. It's either they are telling you that why should I vote? After all, my vote will not count. Or they say day that I'm supposed to rest, I'm going to vote. Why should I? Why? And then
what do you want to rest for? All the days you've been resting. What? God.
Then so we now be like, vote. Why? Why will I vote for Nigeria? Am I from Nigeria? In Nigeria, will be asking you, am I from Nigeria?
Wow.
So yeah, those are the lacunas we are facing, or the challenges we face in this country. So by the number 93 million,
for over 4 to 8 years, you've been complaining about the government, and now 2 days have been set aside to change that government, and you have decided not to have a say in it with the excuse of, oh, okay, I want to rest or stuff like that. It's really, really appalling. It's really appalling.
Yeah, really. It's not shocking to me, but it's the Nigerian thing. So as you can see from the report, from the 93 million, you find out that the North makes the huge chunk of the number, and it's sitting around 50 million goes to the North, and 43 million comes to the South. To me, that's a very close call. And I want to also state it for some Nigerians that are there saying that the North has the power to choose who governs the entire country. I'm not trying to be, tribalistic in my statement, but what I'm trying to say right now is that please, the Southerners should not feel that the North have the vote to win the election. They cannot also do it alone. Okay, mind you, in this country, you need to win 25 states. Okay. You need to score 25% in 24 states. It is mandatory, yeah. And you just have to have not just even in presidency. It goes even down to governorship election. You cannot just say that you only have to win a particular side. No, you have to taste winning here. So it is all encompassing. Okay, so persons out there, just like we talked about, people are not interested in voting. Persons out there, please note that your vote will count. One head, one vote, one man, one vote. It will count, and every vote will contribute to knowing whether this candidate wins or not. And what if there is a rerun? So, come to think of it, you have your vote is not inconsequential. Okay, it is strategic for we Nigerians to use our vote to get the leader of our choice. Okay, now down to the further analysis from these numbers, you find out that Lagos has remained the number one on the spot, and Kano is being seconded. Okay, that's to also tell you Lagos is in the south, Kano is in the north. See, these numbers have been shared. Unfortunately for some persons, especially the Southeasterners, it's unfortunate that their numbers are very low. Out of the 6 geopolitical zones that we have in Nigeria, the Southeast makes the lowest with respect to registered voters. But mind you, the Southeasterners don't dwell in Southeast. Many Southeasterners do their trades outside the Southeast. What does that also tell you? You might even interpolate these numbers, put them together. You might find out that the Southeast, which is being seen as number 6 on the line, might just be around number 3 when you gather it by tribe. Are you getting me? So yes, from the look of things, the Northeast, the Northwest are up there first when it comes to geopolitical zone. Then the rest continues. But let's see how it goes. We just have about 43 days to go. Yeah, there are permutations here and there. Maybe today is not the right time for me to permutate, but as the days progress, we will get into that.
All right. So right about now, we'll go on a very short break, and when we return, more newspaper headlines coming your way. Please stay tuned.
Now that you have registered for your PVC, it doesn't stop there. Ensure you pick up your PVC. Be alert. Join many Nigerians to vote credible leaders that will change the tide of this nation. Do not sell your vote. Remember, this is our future. Your vote is your voice.
This message is proudly brought to you by Thav Media Limited. Yes, you are welcome back from that short break, and taking you now to our next and last paper for today. We shall be looking at the Vanguard, where we have more interesting headlines, and we'll start first by taking a look at page 9. This one says, polls, 93.47 million voters to participate, according to INEC. Okay, we already saw this headline in previous papers already, so we'll skip that now and go to page 22, where we have Olufashon. Wike is a deeply vengeful man who's working day and night against his party's presidential candidate. His toxicity is bad for politics. Okay, that's according to Olufashon on page 22 of the Vanguard newspaper. And on page 24 in the Vanguard, we have law. 1 million naira for SAN application. Lawyers divided over fee. Law, 1 million naira for SAN application. Lawyers divided over fee. Okay, get all details on that headline on page 14 of the Vanguard. On page 24, it's talking about health. This one says, brain drain. Nigeria loses over 1,800 doctors, healthcare workers in December 2022. That's according to NMA in the health sector. I go again. Brain drain. Nigeria loses over 1,800 doctors, healthcare workers in December 2022. That's a huge number, according to NMA on page 24 of the Vanguard. And in the world of sports, we have on page 31, this one says, Mba knocks Pesero's Eagles. Mba knocks Pesero's Eagles. Okay, get all details on that headline on page 31 of the Vanguard. On page 6 of the Vanguard, we have terrorists kill 2, abduct 4 women in Kaduna village. Terrorists kill 2, abduct 4 women in Kaduna village. That's on page 6. On page 7 of the Vanguard, we have train attack. 20, not 31 people kidnapped, says Edo government. 20, not 31 people kidnapped, says Edo government. That's on page 7 of the Vanguard newspaper. And lastly, in the Vanguard today, we have on page 5, this one says, presidency, Tinubu, Atiku trade words over health and credibility status. Presidency, Tinubu, Atiku trade words over health, credibility status. Okay, that's on page 5 of the Vanguard. That's the much you can take in the Vanguard today. And of course, in the newspaper review, you want more details of these headlines, get a copy of the papers for yourself. Okay, so Mr. Victor, which of these headlines interest you?
Okay, I'd like to talk about the political roundup. Okay.
All right.
Yeah, please, the producer, please hope you can just play what is happening in Enugu. The Labour Party presidential candidate, Mr. Peter Obi, really shook the area, and a whole lot of reactions coming from the coal city. And yes, just before they started the main activities, it was also announced that his former campaign DG, Dr. Doyin Okupe, was arrested at the airport while leaving for London. Okay, mind you, he was convicted of a crime, and he was told to pay some fines that will make him avoid
going to jail.
Yeah, spending time in the jail. Okay, and they held him at the airport, and news getting to us saying that it could be as a result of them asking for some papers, some clearance papers from him to show that he has cleared himself from the court. But yes, as the day or the hours go by, we should be able to get the full details of his arrest. Okay, aside that, you have on the papers that come next week, Kwankwaso, that's the presidential candidate of Rabiu Kwankwaso, to be precise, of the presidential candidate of the NNPP, and the presidential candidate of the Labour Party, Mr. Peter Obi, both will be at the Chatham House to make their cases. Remember the news and the reactions that came from Chatham House when Bola Ahmed Tinubu, the presidential candidate.
Feel all Nigerians should be looking forward to that event.
Yes, but yeah, somehow you just begin to ask, oh, come on, we have our country here, why don't you make all these statements here? But yeah, Nigeria is not just for Nigeria. Nigeria should also consider the international world. Reason because we have many of our nationals in diaspora, and the United Kingdom is a big home, a large home for Nigerians, and I think it's also not bad. And let's not also forget the British are the ones that brought us together as Nigeria as one. And yes, I think it's not a bad thing to go there and make them know you campaign from that angle. But yeah, they say too much of everything is bad, because I'm not a great supporter of our political leaders making such amount of trips, plenty of trips over there in the Western world. Okay, so yeah, that's for that. For the APC and the PDP, the two presidential candidates, Bola Ahmed Tinubu and Alhaji Atiku, they are trading words, and man, I think I'm sick and tired of all those sentimental issues between these guys, or these men, sorry. And you find out that now Tinubu, who has been bashed and lashed and cascaded and be spinned and be thrown insults to with respect to his health, is now the one throwing chains and bottles and name it to Atiku, that he should concentrate on his health. That Atiku should concentrate on his health, because yeah, there was some.
That's more like pot calling kettle black.
Oh, I did not see that, Mr. Siri. So, but if you find out that he is now using that tactics to. This is politics. They use such tactics to weigh their supporters down, to tell them, see, this man they go vote for, this man you are going to vote for, he might just be ill. They're just trying to put that insinuation.
So it's more like a mind game, right?
Yes,
okay.
Yes, to tell you that, see, this person is sick, and you know what that can do to the masses. Yeah.
So when it comes to health status, I feel like the health status of both, political aspirants right now are quite visible enough for Nigerians to see, okay, who is more healthier than the other.
Mr. Siri, no, I don't think so. Reason because we need to see some medical reports for us to make such a strong, will I say, proof to show that this person is.
Well, you've seen these men come out for campaigns. You've seen them stand for hours and talk. So
it's still not enough.
I know it's not enough, but at least
a medical report
to a certain level, for someone to be able to stand for hours and talk, you should know, okay, this person to an extent is healthy enough.
See, in the rotation,
because somebody who is not healthy enough cannot stand for hours and then.
You see some people standing under the sun when they are delivering. Maybe somebody is delivering a speech. The next thing you see the person falling apart. That does not make the person ill. It might just also be hunger. What if Tinubu was hungry and his body was shaking?
Really? Really?
So
really?
I prefer a medical report. A medical report will do justice to this information. Then lastly, Peter Obi, the presidential candidate of Labour Party, his team came out to also make it clear. Yeah, there were some, strong reports and accusation? No, alleged news that his company in the UK, that's Nest International UK Limited, that they went moribund. Some say they went that the business was not just, it was mismanagement, some different kind of information, because the business was shut down. So they have come out to say, see, reason why we shut down this business because of P2B moved from being a civilian, a mere civilian, to become a governor. So at the time he was moving into the governorship seat, he had to let go of that business, and the business was no longer operational. And in the UK,
it crumbled.
If you use the crumbled, I don't know whether that's the right word, but there's something the UK does that is different from Nigeria. What do? When you have a business that is running and you seem not to declare your report for that year, and they give you the first, signal or first boss to throw in your papers and you don't respond, they give you another time and you don't respond, they shut down that business.
Okay.
But in Nigeria, it's a different ball game altogether. If you like, don't throw in the report, your annual report on your business, 10 years, 15 years, they will not talk to you. But one thing that is rest assured for you is that if you are trying to do any government-based, whether contract or services that requires the government to know what is happening, my brother, you start paying backlogs of your of the debt that you are owing the government in terms of taxes and duties. You start paying them from that 0 day that you left sending your reports, your tax reports and all that, till the day you need that that contract or that service.
That's a huge one.
Yeah. So that's how you run in this country. So that's it.
Okay, Mr. Victor, thank you so much once again for your time with me on the program today.
Thank you, sir.
And I'm saying thank you too to my wonderful viewers who has been faithful to the screens up until this time, because without them, without you, we will not be here. This is the end of the newspaper review for today. Thank you so much for watching. My name is Cyril Aloysius, and please try to subscribe to this channel. If you haven't subscribed, please do so. And of course, check us out on our different social media platforms. On YouTube, we are TAF TV on YouTube. On Instagram, we are TAF TV_NG on Instagram. On Facebook, we are TAF TV. And on Twitter, we are TAF TV. Until we come your way again next time, do enjoy the rest of your day. Bye for now.